So, Michelle, it's been 6 weeks since your operation.
Hmm.
And for anybody listening, you have had a double mastectomy.
Hmm.
And it was, you decided to take that route based on some genealogy and
Hmm.
some of the risk factors that you were facing.
Yes.
So, can you share with us what this journey has been like for you since you had the operation?
It has been a roller coaster, to be very honest with you. It has been a roller coaster emotionally, um, mental health, and physical. And I had a pretty, from what I'm understanding, a pretty seamless operation. So, just to bring it full circle, I tested positive in the BRCA2 genealogy test. It is a blood test. The reason why I asked for this test, and I did have to ask for it, I did have to advocate for it, was because my mother had a history of cancer and breast and ovarian um, amongst the cancers she had. And I've had a half brother who has fought cancer, and I have cousins, first cousins, that in one family have tested positive for cancer and the gene that came out of the BRCA2. So it was recommended that I also have the test. So that's why I had the test. I tested positive, very high in the 90s of the probability of breast cancer within the next 3 to 5 years. Now it's a probability. There is no absolute, this is going to happen. I want to make that clear. But I already, if you remember, in 2022, I had a cancer diagnosis. I had uterine cancer, and they opted to take everything in that area. So I didn't have to worry about the ovarian part of um, this part. So I had opted to a discussion with my partner, with him, and with my children to have a double mastectomy and to not have reconstruction surgery. So I am completely flat. And the doctor I went to see did inform me that I did not have to go down this route if I didn't want to. I could do a wait and see. And what happens is every 3 to 4 months, you go into it for a high imaging mammogram to make sure you're clear and on. For myself, for me, I don't think I had that mental capacity to just wait and see. When's it going to happen? And we don't know if it's going to happen. So I chose this path. So now we're to speed. So day of surgery went well. No complications. Um, it is it is an outpatient here in the United States. It is considered an outpatient 1 day surgery. Whether
God, that's
I
crazy.
had whether I did not have reconstruction. But even if I had reconstruction, it still was a 1 day surgery.
That because you're a woman? Like,
Um,
really?
yeah. So it was hard because it is considered a major operation.
Yeah.
And
Just from the stress of all of that, I would think you would like to just stay overnight just to know someone's got eyes on me that are professionally trained. That just blows me away. Blows me away.
now, and I don't think I computed the magnitude of the um surgery because it was a 1 day surgery. And when I had my hysterectomy and that whole thing, I did stay overnight. So here's I'm trying to compare these two. This double mastectomy, hands down, was was harder than the hysterectomy. And so, but my hysterectomy also was laparoscopic, so that was probably a little bit easier also. But anyways, my first couple of weeks were rough. My first couple, I mean, I came home and I couldn't keep anything down, even my anti-nausea medicine. Taking this anti-nausea medicine under my tongue and going to the bathroom to vomit. I couldn't keep anything in. But I fell back to sleep, and 7 hours later, I woke up and I did have hunger. I was able to eat. I was able to drink, and I was. So recovery was slow. It was, I moved my body, meaning I would walk around here. I did have pain meds. I did have opioids. I did not use them. I didn't use them. I wasn't trying to be a tough guy, but I was able to, with ice packs and other things, be able to get through that part of it. And then 2.5 weeks in, I went to the doctors. All the bandages were coming off. All of that was coming off. The drains were removed. And that was like liberating for me. I think the hardest part of this whole thing, though, was the first time I took a shower and I saw myself. That was very hard. That was like a week after the surgery to see. I knew what I was doing logically, but I think emotionally and mentally, it just made me weak in my knees.
Mm.
So,
And what were your thoughts, if you don't mind sharing?
ah, it was more on the feeling of less of a woman
Mm.
because I have nothing now. And logically, I'm still absolutely, positively good with this decision. I've never second guessed it. I've never doubted it. But I don't think emotionally and mentally I was 100% ready for what I saw.
Mm.
And I will in time have a prosthesis, but I have to wait for continued healing. And so, like now, for me to put anything on this area, it's very sore still. I do have, like now, I just have a nice soft tank top on,
Mm.
or I do have some compression, longer sports bras that I wear when I'm dressing up. But uh, okay, everybody, we remember Helen, right? My trainer who has been on
Mhm.
here.
Mhm.
She will not mind me saying this, but she's extremely small chested. So she was extremely sweet and gave me a call and helped me understand how to dress because I went from a 36 CD to nothing.
Mm.
So I have no shirts. Like I have half of my closet went to Goodwill or it was donated because it just didn't fit any longer. It just didn't look right. So she just gave me some pointers on it. So that helped a lot because a couple weeks ago I went out with friends and this woman came over to me and just complimented me on my top and walked away. And I was like, she probably doesn't even realize I have nothing there. Like, we imagine these thoughts. And so that was nice. So it's like I'm relearning. I have to relearn how to stand. I don't think we realize how much our breath pulls on us. So I find myself hunching or leaning back. So I'm always have to pull my shoulders back,
Hmm.
you know, to stand up. I think I weighed myself when I came home and I think it was like 5 pounds.
Mm.
I think
So do
that's what
you
it
think
was.
there's anything you could have done, and I'm not saying done differently, but if someone is thinking of this or going through that
Hmm.
could have prepared you better emotionally, or it's just like taking the band-aid off. There's nothing like when you're in the shower and you're looking at yourself and
Right.
it's all coming to you. Is there anything that someone might be able to do, or it's just no, there's just this moment that you just
Um,
have to kind of lean into and deal with?
yeah, I think, I don't, I'm going to say I don't think you can because I think when you see your body in that condition, in that format, um, you can do as much prep work as you want, but until you actually see that, I don't know if it will hit you. And here's the thing, I oft also think having that good cry and going through that helped me um, work through the process and work through the emotions.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I think people can do all kinds of research. I'm sure we can see all kinds of pictures on here. And here's the funny thing. I did not ask the question on how I would be cut because I had talked to my cousin and she told me how she was cut, just thinking that's the way it is, universal. And it wasn't. It wasn't anything like that. She wasn't cut in the manner I was cut at all. So I think that was, one of my things was I didn't ask the specific of what kind of cutting I would have on that. So that was a learning for me.
But so I can say that you're saying perhaps that you can be as prepared as you want, but there's going to be a moment that you just can't prepare for.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I don't think you can.
yeah, that makes
I
sense.
don't care. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, and again, I could have had the reconstruction surgery also. That was very much an option. I chose not to. I will be very forthcoming here and transparent. I did have breast implants in already when I went. So growing up, I was a very small bee, if that. And about 20 years ago, I had implants put in. So I could have had implants done again at this time. I chose not to have any, just going to call it a foreign object in my body any longer. That was my personal decision. I don't think there's any right or wrong decision. If anyone gets their diagnosis and does a BRCA2 um, genealogy test and gets a positive like I have, and just so you know, 3 different doctors looked at this test to confirm like this was the right path to go.
Hmm.
Whatever decision you make, that's the right decision.
Mhm.
There is no right or wrong decision. It is the decision that fits you and your family, your spouse, your partner, whatever you have. That's the decision you have that's the right one for you. I just want to make sure that's clear. This was my path.
Mhm. And emotionally, how do you feel now? Now that it's over, is there a burden? Do you feel lighter because of thinking about like that? You just said that you didn't
Yeah.
want to do every 3 to 4 months going
Nope.
in and doing this. So
That part, yes. That part I feel. Now, this is a 90% preventative surgery. So our breast tissue comes up into our collarbone and down up into our armpits. I am cut from my armpits into my breastbone on both sides. But now, because of my bone and everything, I can feel if I find anything. So I don't have to, you know, how we do the breast when you're in the whole thing. I'm just feeling within my body here of that. There is always a 10% chance, but I will take a 10% chance to a 97% chance. So I'm extremely comfortable. Like I said, I watched my mother for a very long time battle cancer. I've watched my brother battle cancer. I've watched too much in my family that this here is my comfort.
Wow. Brave lady. That's what I want to say.
With that, now that word I have a struggle with, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if it's brave because I think of a woman who decides to have the testing every 3 to 4 months is brave. I think a woman who decides to put implants in is just as brave. I think us taking control of our health is probably the biggest gift we can give ourselves and our loved ones.
But that's a brave move because for a lot of people, it's much easier to not do the test, not go to the
Hmm.
doctor, stick your head in the sand, pretend like everything's okay until all of a sudden something is not okay.
Right.
Not to look at anything preventative, not to say, you know what, I think maybe I should get this blood test done. I think this would be in my best interest based on my family, everything that's going on. I think I really should do that. Just there's so many parts of that story that is brave moves. It's like like you're asking for information that you don't really want to have.
No. And
It's like I'm going to go for this test. My God, I hope it's negative, but my chances based on my family are not good.
right. And that's another thing. I had to fill out a questionnaire. So they dig deep into where you have this cancer history before they even do the test. So I'm not sure if the test is just given to anybody, but because of the in-depth of the cancer in my family, that
Mhm.
is why um I was to have it. And it was paid by my insurance. It was approved and the whole thing. So I just want to make that known on that aspect of it.
Well, certainly I know that when in any of the physicals I have, I'm up here in Canada as Tracy is. Nobody's ever said to me, "Hey, do you want to get this blood test done?" No one's ever offered it to me.
I
Nor
advocated
would I
for it.
even, I wouldn't
Right.
even, I mean, until this situation,
Hmm.
I'd sort of heard it floating around out there, but
Hmm.
never really, paid that much attention to it to say, like, I mean, maybe that should be part of every woman's screening. We have PAPS tests, we do, bone density tests, we do all of these screenings to see where we are. Maybe that should be part of the screening. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, I had to ask for it and advocate
Yeah.
for it. And here's the thing. It doesn't stop here, unfortunately. So testing positive for this BRCA2 gene, that means I am highly susceptible to ovarian cancer, which my mother had, breast cancer, which my mother, and then I have cousins on my paternal father's side. So it's like I'm hit on both sides. But now I'm also susceptible to skin cancer and pancreatic cancer. So those don't run in my family. However, I will now have yearly checkups done by a dermatologist and a gastrologist for those. So I will have these 4 doctors in my life forever on here because I have the gynecologist for my uterine in that area. I have a breast specialist now. I will have a dermatologist and a gastrologist for that.
Wow.
Hmm. Yes. So I'm in the process of making those exams, and those are more like a yearly checkup. Like that's
Mhm.
what it's
Mhm.
what it is done for that aspect of
Mhm.
it.
And you're
Um,
taking control of their health, regardless
yeah,
of the
Mhm.
conditions. You're making sure, like that in itself. And I go back to what you just said, Tracy, about head in the sand, because it's just easier not to think about it, right? And
yeah,
again, bravo, like you're taking ownership of your body
Mhm.
and your health. Great
yeah.
way to set an example.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So as of today, I'm just shy of 6 weeks post-op. I am back with Helen, working with her. I am working with weights in a minimal aspect of it. I
Mhm.
am back doing, excuse me, long walks and what we call GI Jane walks. So they're walks, if you were to see me, you would think, what the hell's that person? It's like with walking lunges, butt
Mm.
kicks, side shuffles. I am not rocking. I am not running. Weights are done out in my garage. Um, what I feel comfortable with. I am now able to, let's see, yeah, arm can go up. Couldn't go up before. And this one's a little harder. Moving my arms up and down. Sleep is coming a little better. I think we were talking before we started recording. I don't think as a woman, even if you're small chested, you realize how much your breasts protect your chest when you roll on your side. And now my arm has nowhere to go. So I have to always have a pillow in, but my breastbone is still extremely, extremely sensitive. I had to get a pad for my seatbelt
Mhm.
because the pressure of
Mm.
the seatbelt. So if
Sure.
I'm out with Peter, I have a pillow. I have a little pillow. This little pillow with me under my arm. Get in the car, put the seatbelt on to protect me. So yeah. And it's just like any other part of your loss of your body. I do feel like it's still there. I do have
Mhm.
sensations. I do have, it's still numb. I have a lot of nerve blocking in here.
Mhm.
So I've been told that in a couple months, I could be more uncomfortable because that nerve system is going to be, you know, coming more alive. I'm drinking cold water. I actually feel the water from my collarbone to the bottom of my rib cage. I literally feel it going down my system because of the sensitivity, the nerve damage in there. Yeah. So, yep. But I feel good. I'm healthy. I'm with, um, and I'm just going to put one foot in front of the other.
I just want to say bravo to you for taking, as we said, taking charge of your health, making some really difficult decisions, advocating for yourself. And I think you're an example to women to say, this is what you need to do. Like life
Hmm.
is precious and you can't don't be the person that sticks their head in the sand and isn't doing what needs to be done to take care of yourself.
No, no. I think in this day and age, that needs to, go away.
Yeah.
And just so you know, again, I'm in the United States. Insurance covered all this because they consider it a preventive care. I mean, I am very much so making it so they don't have to take care of me through cancer treatments.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. Hmm.
I mean, I have deductibles, there's things I'm paying. I don't want you to think it was this, but it wasn't this out of pocket
Hmm.
thing. I just want to make that clear too. And people should check in the United States, it is deemed a preventative surgery. if you have the gene. And the prosthesis to replace for me is also a covered item. But that's a whole nother discussion. So I'd like to offer to our viewers, if anybody has any questions on this, any comments. I do know in our verbiage is our individuals. If you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment here and want to reach out to me privately, I'm open to answer any questions for you if you wish. If you want to put questions or comments down below, definitely we could have another discussion on this. But ladies, thank you for your love and support through this the whole time. I greatly appreciate it.
Big love, sister. Big love.
And please share
Unknown
this
caller.
story. Please share this with anybody that you know could be struggling with this, thinking about it, whatever. Like I said, I am here to have a conversation, if that helps. Until next time.
Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you as a regular member of our community.